Hi there. Welcome back to the Greatest Attorney Chronicles. We went through some new testimony from these weirdo witnesses, but you know, that's sort of the norm for Ace Attorney, am I right? We learned about this blood that we didn't notice before, or we didn't notice any blood at the scene at the time. Though I will say, when I stopped recording the last episode, I did look around some of the evidence we had, and I realized we actually hadn't examined the new evidence that we had gotten recently, which normally I try to make a habit of doing that, but I guess I didn't get around to it this time. So first off, there was the autopsy report. Just to go over that, you know, we got Gregson, male, age 45, time of death, non-existent apparently. The victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at the point of entry, and the bullet exited the body from behind, which correlates with what we already know. The caliber of the gun used matches that of standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary, which again matches what we already know, so nothing too shocking there. Then there's the floor plan, which I feel like, yeah, the door was here, so if they came in and saw it, right, that means Gossip would have been like right here when he fell. So if there was a pool of blood, because we did look, if you look at the photograph of old Gregson, you do see there's a lot of blood here. So for his hand to get in the pool of blood, that means he would have had to have, like, I don't know, fallen right on top of Gregson, which doesn't really correlate with what he said, which is curious. Also, I don't know if I think I pointed this out last time we saw his dead body, but man, he really got fucking Yamcha, didn't he? Also, what are these, like, straps around his arms? What's that about? Also, there's this notice board, or this conspiracy theory board that I didn't actually examine all the way, and I noticed something before that, well, I'll show it off. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene, too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League, then? Which I'm still wondering about that. Like, was he trying to join the Red-Headed League? But that's why he was wearing the wig? But then they found out that he wasn't really a redhead, so they murdered him? But also, there's also this, which, dun dun dun. We're quite curious now, isn't it? Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh, yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Hope it is not Gregson's blood. Oh dear, how disturbing. Okay, see, the fact that we actually waited to examine this makes the relevance of this more obvious now, doesn't it? Though that raises its own question now, doesn't it? If he fell down, how did he get his hand on the back of the notice board? Especially when it was, like, positioned like this, according to the floor plans. Pretty curious, huh? But also there's this, too. I already examined this part before, because I didn't actually expect that the firecrackers were going to be super relevant, but here we are. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus Special, you know? I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But you said it could blow up the courtroom. Bang. Okay, yeah, so that's fairly a nice meaty bang. All right. Well, that was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like, which, yeah, pretty curious if you ask me. So yeah, the fact that these collection of fireworks sound almost like a gunshot, I feel like that's going to be a surprise tool that'll come in handy later. But for now, though, I think we know what we can present. It would in fact be this bad boy.
Objection!
Take that! Or, yeah, objection, sorry. So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
Holy fuck! Your objection is pretty scary. Did you really sound like that before? I don't remember you sounding that bad. Jeez. The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is a defensive objection? Yeah, yours isn't quite as forceful, Mr. Naruhodo. If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Okay, that one's pretty good, though. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Aye, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere. I mean, I don't really think you can tell any your own hand from any given handprint. But yeah,
objection.
Quite curious, I would say, because like again, it was facing the back of the room, so like I don't even know, like it would have to have been somewhere else if you think about it. And also, but also I want to wonder like why didn't the investigation not like look at the back of the fucking notice board? Like they had free reign to look around, didn't they? The witness very definitively testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not as the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Or that too, I guess. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room of the victim, and in an upright position. Even if it somehow had been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body. Okay, so so it wasn't like as soon as you came in and you saw him, you saw the Reaper. I mean, that's the way Sandwich made it sound. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. Okay, well that actually does line up with what I was thinking about earlier, because Gregson does have a substantial pool of blood under his body. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. Okay, sorry. I was just imagining like the fucking, that Chad format where they're like, oh, so you believe this really stupid thing, and it's just like the beefed up guy being like, yes. Like, yeah, my assertion is contradictory. What the fuck are you gonna do about it, you little punk ass bitch? Yeah. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord, apparently. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'm a smart guy. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by another handprint, the board moving, or false testimony. Well, I don't know, maybe we're just a lying piece of shit, gossip. Have you ever stopped to consider that? The witness claims to have wiped his bloody hand on the floor, yet no sign of that remains at the scene. The simplest explanation is that the witness is lying.
Objection!
Just because it's the simplest explanation doesn't make it the correct one. Ryunosuke Naruto. Bro, have you never heard of Occam's razor? That's like a logic thing, you know? The simplest solution is always the right one. How's that for fucking logic, you white, closed son of a bitch? Ah. Falsing and perjury is simply because it suits you. You bring shame on your Japanese heritage. Arg! Okay, fine. I guess just saying he's lying isn't good enough. I would ask you not to oversimplify matters again, Counsel. Again, it's Occam's razor, guys. Come on, it's fucking logic and philosophy, my dude. I don't remember fostering that kind of simplistic thinking in you. Well, clearly, you don't know. You underestimated how much of a fucking idiot I was, pal. And whose fault is that, really? Also, let's not fucking talk about this like a fucking bad breakup or something, you know? Since when were you and my father? And since when were you and my father? Well, that would be a twist, wouldn't it? Anyway, I was always taught to consider all possibilities. Just don't call him Daddy, okay? Then show me. There should be a bloody handprint on the floor. So where did it go? I'm ready to give the proper explanation now to the court now, my lord. All right, yeah, let's do it. Okay, well, I think another handprint is a little too dumb, so I'll just say the board moving. Yeah, like clearly it just got pushed over at some point by someone somewhere. You know what I mean? If there's another handprint, then that kind of just makes my point not matter. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself. Ugh. Not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Oh yeah, it is upside down, isn't it? That is pretty weird. Good gracious! So it is. Yes, so it is, Your Honor. If witnesses had put his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upwards. Yeah, who would like wipe their hand, you know, upside down? You know, what does that tell us? It tells us he's a fucking liar. It tells one simple fact: when this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. I.e., I'm right, you're wrong, L plus ratio plus, go back to fucking lawyer school, Mr. Cosmo, sir. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. Damn. I wasn't expecting the music to start playing this early, but okay. What? What?
Objection!
What the fuck is that? Wait, what does that mean on his board? Hot actual hero? What does that even mean, Sandwich? You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the militia of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? Okay, well, if Gossip is telling the truth and he fell over, you know, hereabouts, then that would imply that the notice board had fallen over and it was, like, somewhere in this general area. Hopefully it's not going to ask me to be too specific.
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. The court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier. He said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. By heck! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. Wait, was it really that big? That could just like cover up a whole fucking body? And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. Would it? I mean, it's not that fucking... It's just a board. It's not like it's fucking, you know, gigantic. Besides, I thought you said it had fallen over. What are you getting at there, Hodo-san?
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words... fuck, not this voice again. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open, and I heard a man scream. It is only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it I don't know about calling it a scream, but I was talking about me, and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. Oh yeah, I guess it would knock it over. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. And frankly, you can't handle it. But you need to prove him innocent. He has simply described what he saw. Arg! Huh. So I guess that kind of explains the weird discrepancy between Barack's testimony and what we actually saw happening. Even though, again, I feel like... I don't know if a notice board would just completely block off all light from, like, one side of the room. I don't think. I mean, I guess if there wasn't any light before... If that was the only source of light, then I guess. It's not like there was, like, an overhead light. But then there was a lamp, though, wasn't there? Nope. I don't know. Order! Order! Counsel, how does not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. So a bit of tampering with the scene of the crime. Witness, what able to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I'll get the message. Also, man, you're really stretching yourself into... twisting yourself into knots over this situation, aren't you? The mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams, bored. I can't see how this changes anything. Anyway, the detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp on which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. Oh, that's right. Yeah. It don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. God, you're a real fucking Socrates, aren't you, Sandwich? Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. I mean, it would if, well, when the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly committed this crime is Barrett von Zyx. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Well, quite so. Quite so. Doesn't Wit still wish to cross-examine the witnesses to supply the circumstances? Well, actually, your lord, no, I give up. I'm a pussy-ass bitch, and I just can't take anymore. Most certainly, my lord, is what I meant to say. Very well, then you may proceed, counsel. And proceed I shall. Cross-examination. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just whipped my hand on it.
Hold it!
So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Admit it? What's there to admit? It's there. It's terror plain as day for all to see. A smashing print on my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you whited the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. Well, my bottom lip was all a quiver. In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem. I don't look at me, I was doing business with some second years at the time.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's a primary school just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow up their school to kingdom come. Boy, that reminds me of my days as a youth. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh wow, you're a fucking snitch. That's not very cash money of you, street seller. Oh, you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So I let the school know the kids are playing with dirty toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? Wow, that's kind of fucked up. You sell fireworks to children, and then you make the teachers, you tell the teachers so they take the fireworks away. So you just you have an endless loop of customers. I see. What a racket! Yeah, exactly. Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life. Selling explosives. Yeah, I imagine. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of like... Oh, wow, you're just fucking throwing the explosive now. Man, you sure have a lot on your mind, don't you, Sandwich? In due time, my boy, in due time. Heh, well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it. Ugh, scary. The important point is, you didn't go inside the room where the inspector was killed. Isn't that right? Definitely not. Wouldn't have dreamed of it. Wouldn't have dreamed of it, would I? I mean, you just said you tell barefaced lies, so I mean, I don't know if we can really trust you, you know?
Hold it!
But you did go to see what had happened in the room. What had happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened. It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice the notice board in the room? If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit. Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapien, not Homo sinians. Call fucking... Just drag his ass, man. You really fucking gave him what for. Homo sinians. Jesus Christ, Ryunosuke. Does that mean you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, who was responsible for moving the notice board? It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that seems bored. What exactly do you mean by that? Yeah, that's a bit of an odd one even for me. Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you're not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. I mean, yeah, kinda. But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I'd ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper. Not for a second. Sorry. Well, I was that scared. I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do ya? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Yeah, you should be able to do that. Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd heaved the thing upright and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams, bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. He still died when we shot him. Or when he got shot, I mean. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way, because of the gunshot that we all heard. So your fate's sealed too. My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So now I could just find some problem with that part of the story. It may be possible to change all our fates. Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved. So somebody must have done it. It's not like it was a fucking ghost. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right, and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt that there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track. I can feel it. So follow your instincts. All right then. I guess I'll do that. With your encouragement, it's definitely appreciated. But I think we're gonna save that for the next episode. I still have like one statement to push or to pursue, I guess, and that'll probably get us somewhere in the right direction. Though frankly, I'm already getting an idea of what happened in terms of the gunshot that they heard, or the gunshot that they quote unquote heard. Well, wait, didn't wait. Okay, so we can't assume that he was shot. So. I'm just saying, if this gunshot is able to, or if this firecracker is able to replicate a gunshot, then, you know, I mean, it kind of feels kind of obvious, doesn't it? But I might not know all the answers, but I feel like that's the right track to go down. And yeah, like I said, next time we will explore that avenue further. Until then, though, I'll see you around.